Hey guys, Sean from TrailGrid Pro. Today's video, we're going to be installing the Soundskins pre-cut kit for the 16 to 23 Toyota Tacoma Crew Cab.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Cliff and Sean from TrailGrid Pro. Super pumped to be back with you today. We're here to talk about sound deadening. Specific sound deadening kits for your Toyota vehicle, or some universal options if you don't want to get the full specific kits. Now, Sean, for those watching, just to give them some context, you are an MECP Master Certified Technician. You know audio. You've been doing it for a long time. 30 years?
30 years, almost 30 years.
Almost 30 years. Why sound deadening?
So it's going to block out some of that road noise and just exterior noise. It's going to make your audio sound better. It's actually going to keep your car a little warmer in some cases, depending on how much you actually use in your vehicle. And there's specific pre-cut kits that make it so much easier than it was in the past.
Absolutely. And you know, so I know from my experience, so we sound deadened the 4Runner before we went to Overland Expo East. Ripped everything out. We sound deadened the whole thing. So I got into it, and it was a wildly different experience. The audio system was the same before and after, and I could just, everything just sounded like it was on top of me. It was incredible. And so I, stamp of approval, sound deadening, kind of the importance of it when it comes from an audio perspective. One of the cool things that Dennis, the CEO of Soundskins, said to us, he said, it doesn't matter if you upgrade the audio. Your audio will be upgraded simply by installing sound deadening. So you could have your factory OEM system and you put sound deadening in, it's gonna really tighten up the audio performance. But obviously, if you invest in a new head unit, speakers, amp, sub, it's kind of a no-brainer. You gotta do it.
Just by keeping the metal from vibrating and doing things like the speaker ring kit, where you actually will put that around your speakers and it creates a buffer between the speaker and your door panel to not allow any of that extra audio to escape sideways. World of difference.
So over here we have another universal option. So this is the backing kit. So
yeah, so this will actually go behind the speaker on the metal.
So essentially the backing plate, any noise that goes toward the door, you know, not into the vehicle, is absorbed and then redirected so there's no rattle.
Exactly.
Keeps everything on the interior cabin, which is what you want when it comes to the audio performance in your vehicle. So what we're gonna have is we're gonna have custom vehicle specific kits. So we've been selling these already, and they're selling like crazy without any of our installation videos, which is what Sean's gonna get into. Custom vehicle door solutions for a Tacoma, 4Runner, Tundra, already pre-cut so that you can have an easy install in your driveway or garage. And then we've got some extras, universal solutions, which we just went over, and then some install help, a roller. A roller is gonna go a long way.
It absolutely will.
Yeah, to make sure that everything sticks the way it should so that your sound deadening kit is installed perfectly the first time. All right, so we've got the stamp of approval from our own Sean, 30-year Master Certified Technician, Cliff, TrailGrid Pro. I've heard it all. Sound deadening, you need it. But let's hear it from the very own CEO of Soundskins. He has no idea we're calling. So we're gonna put him on blast. We're gonna FaceTime him right now and see what happens. Oh, hey, Dennis.
Oh, hey.
No, you were calling me on purpose.
Yeah.
I am calling you on purpose. You know why?
Tell me.
We wanted to hear it from the mouth of the master himself. Why do we need sound deadening, Dennis?
Man, you know what our slogan is? The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
We want you to take the sound test, the knock test, and put us against anybody and see where we stand.
Absolutely.
We prove our position.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, look, the good news is you don't have to convince us. We've got Sean here, 30-year, as you know, Master Certified Technician. We've got CJ here. I love your products. I got them in my 4Runner. But you got it from the mouth of the man himself, Dennis. Soundskin, sound deadening is the way to go. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, brother. Thank you so much.
Thanks, CJ.
All right, see ya. All right, Sean, the verdict's in. Sound deadening, way to go. From Soundskins, vehicle-specific solutions for your Toyota. What do you say we get this installed?
Let's do it.
All right.
So now that Cliff and I have gone over all the features and benefits of the Soundskins, let's go over some of the tools that are going to be necessary to disassemble and install our pre-cut kit on our 22 Toyota Tacoma. First things first, we're going to want some sort of screw gun or manual Phillips head screwdriver. We're going to want some panel removal tools, socket wrench, as well as a 10mm socket, a variety of razor blades, and a pair of scissors. And optional will be a pair of gloves, just in case, because we're going to be reaching into the inside and there is metal. So if you want to be a little bit more careful, grab yourself a pair of gloves. So now that we've gone over the tools, we can actually go through and open up our Soundskins pre-cut kit. There's going to be a little work that we're going to need to do to prep the Soundskins kit prior to installation. So let's go ahead, get this box open, and we'll show you what to do next. So when you order the kit, this is what you'll receive. This is a box complete for your 2016 to 2023 Toyota Tacoma. It's a 4-door kit only. So if you have a access cab or a single cab, this really isn't the right product for you. So let's go ahead, do a little unboxing, show you everything that's included inside here, and then I'll show you the process of prepping the kit for installation. So once we get our box open, there'll be some written instructions of kind of how you want to do it. Some bubble wrap. And then we have each side and some protective paper. So first one here out of the box. So this is going to be our driver rear door panel. Each one is labeled for what it is. So we'll set this on this side. The next one is number 4. That's going to be our passenger rear door panel. Set that on this side. So then next, we have our passenger front door panel. Put that on this side. And then last but not least, will be our number 1, and that is our driver's door front panel. So now give me a second, we'll get all cleaned up here, and I'm going to show you on one of them exactly what we need to do to prep it, and then we'll do a quick montage of doing the rest of them. So it'll come as a sheet, complete. You'll notice some perforations all throughout the actual panel. That's what we need to remove. So those areas are where the door lock cablings will come through, some of the pins for the wiring inside the door, and then also on the outside we'll need to remove that because that will give us our final size. So super easy to do. Just push on each one of the perforated circles and just remove them. Pretty simple to do. Now there are a fair amount of them. You'll just do that throughout the entire thing and just remove them all. Just be careful. There is a layer of aluminum in here that you could cut your finger. So if you want to wear gloves, please do so. So just a couple more here. So with some of this extra, if you want to use that on the inside of the door panel, you're going to want to do that before you put on the exterior part. Use your pair of scissors, cut it nice, cut some squares, put it on the inside. So let's go ahead and finish our prep here. So now we're just going to remove the entire outside layer around the pre-cut kit. So you're just gonna kind of pull it apart Just being careful not to rip it. So there we go. So we can set this aside, and you have your finished, ready to go, ready to be installed Soundskins driver's door side. So let's take a couple minutes, do our driver's rear door, our passenger front door, and our passenger rear door. Have everything ready to go for once we remove our door panels and get it installed. So now we have all 4 of our Soundskins panels prepped. Next, we're going to get to the Tacoma. We're going to go ahead and do each door individually. So I'm going to start with the driver's front door, move to the driver's rear door, passenger front door, so on and so forth. So let's get to our truck. I'll show you how to get the door panels off and what you need to do on the interior side of the door to get it ready to put your Soundskins on. Let's begin disassembly of the driver's door. I'm going to start up by the mirror. So just gently stick your panel removal tool right behind and just gently pry forward, releasing that. Now most times these little white clips here will stay in the door. Easiest thing to do, 2 fingers and just push in and get those removed. So again, push, remove, and remove. So we'll just go ahead and get those installed back on the mirror pillar. So now they're back on, we won't forget about them later. So next, just grab your little cover, if you still have it, out of the door handle pull, and then right behind the handle, go ahead and just remove that. Again, screw and a screw. So first screw, and then the second screw. So now we need to remove the push pin from here. So you'll just gently push that in. You may have to use some sort of tool to push it in just a little bit, and then pull on the panel just a hair to remove it. So now we have everything out of our door panel. Now we'll just reach in and slowly start to pop it. So popping it all. Now if your door panel has been off before, it makes it a little easier. If it has not, it'll be a little bit of a struggle. Now that our door panel is released, we're going to go ahead and pull our window switch out. So you're going to want to grab your panel removal tool and just gently kind of get it in to the front side, wiggling it until it releases. Once it releases, you'll have 2 wire harnesses that we need to remove. The first one, push in. Now on the driver's side, this one's a little bit tougher to get, so I suggest just using your panel removal tool and getting in on that button until it releases, and it will pull straight out. So now with our wire harnesses disconnected, our door panel is loose, we can go ahead and just grab it and slide it off. So next we'll have to release our door handle and our door lock cabling. I'll show you how to do that here now. So first thing you want to do is push up on the white, and then we'll just lift it out of its holder. And then next is the green, and lift it out. So one thing you want to remember is white will go on top, green will go on the bottom. That'll be consistent with all the doors. There are some other things we need to remove, so I would suggest take a picture kind of where everything is so you can remember where everything goes back. So first thing, we need to remove our door handle bolt holder, and then we'll also need to remove our factory or our aftermarket speaker. So pretty easy to do. The speaker, just unplug the harness and remove the 4 screws from the speaker itself. And then we remove the speaker. Next, we'll remove the 2 screws from the door handle bolt. So now that's removed. And then we can go ahead and unplug our power mirror if our truck has power mirrors. So we can get that unplugged. So then next, we're going to be removing this plastic vapor barrier. We're replacing it with our Soundskins door kit. So we'll just go ahead and remove that. Now, depending on where you are in the country, this black goop can be very, very sticky. So you may want to wear a pair of gloves for this. For me, I usually grab my razor knife, and then being careful because it is a razor knife, I'll just start trimming it as I go. So just gently pulling on the vapor barrier, making sure I don't cut any of the wiring harnesses or anything like that. Just take your time and just kind of go through it, slicing it off. So here I'm just going to just take it and cut a slice in it to remove it around this wire harness here, because we're going to be removing it and throwing it in the trash. So continuing on. So got lucky there, it wasn't super sticky, but we're going to go ahead and just throw that away. So next we need to remove all of our holders for our wiring. There's 2 plugs in the doors. Again, take a picture. Remember where everything is. We're also going to be removing the 2 blocks from the door panel. Now these are just like a plastic block. So let's go ahead, remove our 2 harnesses here. So by just pushing in and removing, same thing on this side, push it in and remove. And go ahead and just remove the block out of the holder here. And this one actually has a pin holding it in. Grab your panel removal tool, just remove that one there. And this one here at the front edge, and remove that as well. So now we have everything unplugged here. So last thing that we need to do is go ahead and remove any of the wire hold downs. So that's why I said keep your window up, because you'll actually be able to kind of reach back in and push on some of these to get them out of the way. So take your time, get these removed. If you need to, use your panel removal tool to help get them out. All right, now that we have them all out, now on the driver's side only, you won't actually be able to physically take the entire harness and leave it down here by the side because of the connections that are made pretty high up that you just cannot get to. So I'll show you what you'll have to do when we get to that point. So now, if your interior door panel is dirty or greasy, you're going to want to wipe that down with a degreaser, get it all cleaned up. I'm just going to go ahead and just generally wipe it down. So now we got everything out. I'm going to go ahead and throw some of those extra pieces. I'm going to cut them nice and neat, put them on the interior inside of the door panel to give myself a little bit of sound deadening there as well. Then we'll go ahead and get the interior Soundskins on our truck. So now we have our pre-cut kit. First things first, just make sure you have the right one, line everything up, make sure it works. You can also usually tell by the sticker that's on here. So this is driver's front door panel. It's also number 1. So installation, relatively easy. You're going to want to strip down some of the paper to begin lining it up. So you strip down 4 or 5 inches, kind of get everything lined up. So just make sure, so starting with the hole there, and then getting it, so now we're good here. There we go, so we'll gently get it into the general area, then we can fold it up and start pulling more of the paper away. There we go. So now we're going to grab our door lock and handle, stick them through this little triangle there, and just kind of keep going as we get it mounted. Again, making sure all the holes line up as we go. So, and we won't fully set it down. So these line up here, we're good. So keep removing some paper. So we're going to keep checking. Okay, good. So we can go ahead and kind of get all of our paper removed. So we're just going to make sure we're still in line. So now we have our plugs that we need to plug in. So for this one, we're going to cut just a real small X in our Soundskins. So just above the N and the S, just cut a slit there, and then at the end, cut it here and there. So now we have an opening for our window switch and our mirror switch to come through, as well as our speaker wire and everything else. So now we can get that all in, and then on this side we can make a little slice here to get our wires through. Now this is only on the driver's side, so now we'll make sure we get that, pop that back in and bring that up through to be able to plug that back in. So now again, if everything's lined up, you can start gently pressing on the actual material, making sure we have all of our speaker mounting holes in there. And once you're satisfied with how it mounts, go ahead and push it all down. So if you have the Soundskins roller, go ahead, grab that, roll everything out. After that, we'll actually go ahead and cut out our speaker hole. Now there's two ways to do that. You can cut it flush, or you can cut it a little bit smaller and then roll that extra material up and around. Totally up to you, however you want to do it. Either way is fine. So let me go ahead, grab my roller, we'll get it rolled out, and then we'll get our speaker hole cut out. and get our speaker mounted back in. Just roll it until you're happy that it's mounted and down. The main things you're looking to do are get the edges and anywhere that there is a ridge. So there we go. I'm happy with how that is. So now I know I have everything I need out. I can actually go ahead and start remounting some of my wiring. So push in and then plug my power mirror back in. I can go ahead and plug the plug that I removed here for the power of my power windows. I know here is my speaker wire, my mirror, and my window switches. So now that's all done. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out for my speaker mount. So again, if you want to leave a little extra, absolutely fine. If you want to go flush, that's fine as well. So just kind of get where you want it and then cut the speaker hole out. So I left a little bit of a lip so I can bend it up and in. You can take this extra piece, just put it on the inside if you did not install any on the interior panel. And then we're just going to go ahead and kind of wrap that around, making sure it sticks to the metal there. So now we've got that there. From there, we can go ahead and get our factory or aftermarket speaker back in the exact same way that it came out. It's going to go back in. So get it in and lined up. Grab your screws that you removed, and we'll go ahead and get all 4 of those back in. So we got those 4 screws back in. Don't forget to plug in your speaker. So next we'll put in our mounting plate for the screw to hold in the door panel. It'll even tell you FR for front in case you take all your door panels off. But just go ahead, get that lined up and get it screwed in. So now we're happy with our door panel, how it looks, how it's mounted. You can see it's a greater barrier than that little piece of plastic was. Everything's out of the way. So now it's just a matter of getting our door panel mounted back on. So now we have our factory driver's door panel. We're going to go ahead and get our lock and our latch hooked up. We're going to get our mirror and our window harnesses through. So again, just remember white on top. So slide it in and lock it in. Make sure you hear that click. And then the green on the bottom, exact same. Make sure you hear that click. Make sure you can lock and unlock and release. Grab our harnesses, get them through. Then we're going to go ahead and hang our door panel on. Double checking, making sure that all of our pins are in the right spot. And then you can just kind of give it a little love tap. Now remember that you used to have just a really thin piece of plastic. Now you have 3 layers of material very close to the pins that hold the door panel on. So you may have to massage it a little bit, give it a little bit of time. There's actually a bit of foam on the back of the door panel that needs to push in on the Soundskins material to kind of form to that. So don't worry if your door panel pops out a couple times. It just needs a little bit of time to kind of get locked on. Once you put your screws in and close your door, we usually suggest leave your doors closed 25-30 minutes just to make sure that pressure stays on there. So from there, we can go ahead and start getting our door screws and everything back in. First, we'll grab our screw for the door handle. Get that screwed in. Now for our lock area, get that in. And go ahead and get our cover plate in. Grab our mirror cover that we've already put our clips back on. Just get that all lined up. Push in. Next will be our push pin back in this back corner. Push that flush. Then we can grab our window and mirror switch. Get that plugged back in. Make sure you hear that click, give it a little pull, make sure it doesn't come out. And same with our mirror. So that's good. Line that up, push that down all the way. And last but not least is our cover for our door handle. So again, just double check, hitting your lock switches, so on and so forth, making sure your locks work correctly. Make sure you can hear when you pull it that it's releasing the latch. Worst thing you can do is close the door and have forgotten to hook one or both of these up. It'll be a heck of a time getting this door back open. So always do that before you close the door. Double check everything. You just look, everything's closed, on, yep, everything's on. So now we can go ahead, like I said, close the door, leave it shut for 25-30 minutes while you're doing the rest of the doors, and then you should be all good and done. So we're done with the driver's door. Let's go ahead, move to the driver's rear door. Very, very similar. Same bolts to undo. There's some differences in the trim panels, but let's do that next. So now moving to the driver's rear door, very similar with the disassembly process. You're still going to have the two screws here and here. Now our push pin has moved to the outside of the truck, as well as our trim panel that we need to remove is on the outside as well. So same process, let's go ahead, get everything out. So grabbing our panel removal tool, get out our cover for the screw, remove our trim panel here, use something to push in on this. And get that out. And then our panel tool, kind of slip it in there gently, start removing that. And get these out. Again, use two fingers, push in and just pull out. Just be careful that you don't drop them down in. So we'll go ahead and get those reinstalled. So now they're all back. So now we can remove our two screws, pop our panel, and lift up our power window switch. So let's get our screws out first. So just gently pull outwards on your panel. It'll release. Again, if you've had it off because you replaced your speakers, it'll be a little easier. If not, it'll be a little tougher. So now we have everything released. We can go ahead and just gently pop out our power window switch here to get that out. So remove that and disconnect the wire harness. So now that everything is undone, go ahead and release the door panel. And just like the driver's door, you'll release the handle and the door lock the exact same way by just popping it up and pulling it out, and popping up and pulling it out. So now our door panel is off. We'll do the exact same thing we did on the driver's door, remove our vapor barrier, get all of our wire harnesses and our speaker out of the way. So let's get that done now. So let's start out getting our factory or aftermarket speaker out of the way, unplugging it, removing the screws. And removing the speaker. Next, we'll remove the 3 screws from here. A little bit different than the front door. Here it's 3. So next we need to remove our plastic vapor barrier. Again, the exact same way as the drivers. You're just going to take your razor blade and just kind of get it through, being careful not to cut yourself or any of the wiring. Okay. That started coming off. And again, just like the driver's door, we'll take the plate off, grab our panel popper and just remove the one pop clip from it. So from here, we're going to go ahead and get everything unplugged and all of the harness retainers removed and out of the way. So starting here, just unplug this one here, get it unplugged and out of the way. Again, if you can reach in behind, start removing all of the harnesses. Now this one is usually pretty hard because it's right by where the window is. So you can pop it off. And the last one down here. So now we have everything out. Again, if you need to wipe your door panel down because there's grease, mud, anything like that, now's the time to do that, as well as if you need to put anything on the interior side, go ahead and do it now. So now we grab our Soundskins rear door, just double checking, driver's rear door panel. So we can start with sliding some of the protective paper down. Again, a couple inches, just enough that you can get it tacked on there and adjust it from there. So we'll kind of see where everything sits. Right around here, around there. So we'll just kind of gently get it on there. Go ahead and fold it up. Again, the little triangle is where we're going to stick our door lock and our latch in. Get them through here. So depending on your model, not all the holes will have something there. So depending on power windows, power locks, so on and so forth. So now we can go ahead and just remove the rest of our paper. So now we need to make a small slice here to run our wires up and through. So right in this general area, go ahead and just make a small slice like that. Grab all of our wiring and bring it up through that cut you just made. Okay, so now we have it up. You can go ahead and lock that one back down. Get this one pushed back in and locked. So now we'll just kind of, again, double check, make sure we're good. Gently push it down. So from here we can grab our Soundskins roller, just roll it out, roll the edges, any of the corners. So now we have it rolled out. We can start putting all of our clips back in to where they go. Make sure we plug everything back in. So we have our window switch and our speaker wire left. So next we're going to go ahead, cut out our hole to replace our factory speaker. Again, be careful, you're working with razors. So now we have it. We don't need to fold anything up, but we can go ahead and take this little bit of extra, throw it in here behind the speaker. So now we're basically done with the installation of the Soundskins, so we can grab our factory or aftermarket speaker, get it back in there and lined up. Don't forget to plug it back in as well. Now we have to put the 3 screws for the grab handle. And again, just like the front door, once you put the door panel back on, you have a little bit more material, so it's going to take a little time for that to push this in and to create that contour that is on the back of the door panel. So now with your driver's rear door panel in hand, we're going to first connect our cables here. Again, green on the bottom, white on the top. So just slide it in and push in. And then for the green on the bottom, same thing, in, listen for that click. Make sure lock and unlock kind of work. Hang your door panel back on, making sure everything's kind of in line. Get them to lock in. Make sure you have your window switch plug out. And now we can actually start putting all the screws back into that. So we'll start with the door handle and the door grab. The door handle. Again, just making sure everything works. And go ahead and get our covers put back in. Make sure we hear that click. Put our push pin out here. Grab our trim. Put that back in. So now grab our window switch, making sure that's plugged in, and then just press that straight down in. So we're going to check, make sure our door panel is on correctly, kind of feel, make sure there's no gaps. So then we want to just double check, make sure our door lock locks and unlocks with our lock switch. So that works. So now that our driver's rear door is done, we can move over to the passenger side and get the front and rear doors done there. Now they are almost exactly the same as the driver's side, with just a few bit of differences on the passenger front door. So now moving on to the passenger side of the vehicle, the passenger front door is going to be very, very similar as far as removal as the driver's door was. So we're going to remove screws here, pop off the trim panel, pop out the pop clip, remove the window switch. So let's go ahead and start grabbing some of those things out. Remove our cover panel here and remove our trim panel. Get our clips out and get them back on. And then we can remove our 2 screws. We can go ahead and just gently pull on our door panel. Go ahead and grab our panel removal tool to get the window switches out. So this one a little different. 2 separate plugs, one for the door lock, one for the window switch. Those are out. Now we can go ahead, lift up and remove our door panel. And just like the driver's side, remove and lift up, remove and lift up. So now we can get our door panel out of the way. So just like the other doors, we're going to remove our factory or aftermarket speaker, remove our plastic vapor barrier, and remove these 2 screws that hold the grab handle into place. So let's start with our speaker. And unplug factory connection, and we'll pull that out. Luckily this one's not connected very well. We can pull it most of the way off here. So just make a quick slice into here. Now we'll remove the 2 trims, remove the 2 pop clips, holding the bottom one in. So next we can actually remove all of our holders and get our wiring out of the way. So we'll go ahead and unplug this side, removing some of these clips. Get that one. There we go. Get this one unplugged here. Okay, so now we have everything loose. Be very similar to the driver's side door. We're going to make a little slit for this one, and then we'll make a slit in our Soundskins material to get our wiring up through. Again, just remember, if you're doing anything on the inside, go ahead and do it now. If you have any oil, grease, dirt, mud, anything like that, make sure you wipe it down first. So we're just going to double check, make sure we have the right one. We have the passenger front door panel, or number 3. So let's just confirm, make sure it looks correct. So, yep, it is the right one. So we're going to go ahead and just pull down the first couple inches. I'm going to get it lined up here. So just get it lightly on there. Oh, this needs to go up just a hair. So now we can go ahead, fold it up. Get a little more of it up. Make sure we grab our door lock and latch cables, get them through. Just make sure we're all lined up there. Go ahead and, as you feel comfortable, remove as much of the protective material as you need. Gently get it into place, making sure that all of our holes line up. We'll kind of push down what we know is good. So now we know that we need to make a hole right here to get our wiring through. So now we can get all of our wiring that we need to have through. So we have our mirror plug, our windows, our door lock, as well as our speaker. So now everything else underneath, you can kind of just go ahead and get locked back in. And then we're gonna make one slice about here. This plug through. I'm gonna go ahead and plug that right back in. There you go. So then once you're happy with everything, if you have the roller, go ahead and roll it. If not, just be careful when you're, really getting it down there that you don't cut yourself. So there we go, everything's in. Now we can go ahead and cut out our speaker. So just like the front one, I'm going to leave a little bit extra to curl up, back, and around. So then we can go ahead and kind of peel it around. Take our little bit of extra here, stick it on the inside if you hadn't done that already. We can go ahead and start putting it back together. We're going to go ahead and start with the speaker. Don't forget to plug your speaker in. We'll get our mirror plug back in and plugged in. And, oh, see, forgot to pull one out for here. Now we can put these 2 screws in. So we have our speaker plugged in, we have our mirror plugged in, we have our window motor and our door locks. Everything's ready to go. So now we can actually grab our door panel, start getting it back on, starting with our door lock and lever mechanism. We're going to start up top. White's going to go on top. Drop it down in and push it till you hear it click. Green will go on the bottom, exact same way. Listen for that click. Making sure we have our door lock and window switch. Set your door panel back on. Make sure that everything is lined up. And you can kind of give it a couple taps. So now that our door panel is back on, we can go ahead, start putting all the screws back in the grab handle, in the door handle, as well as the push pin up top. Put our push pin in. Now for our mirror cover. Now we can put our covers on the door handle and into the grab handle. And in there. So last thing we need to do is plug our switches back in. Plug them both in, set them on, push them down. Again, double check your door lock and your handle, so lock, unlock. So we're good there. That works that. We can move on from the passenger front door to the passenger rear door. So we're just about there, almost completed with the install. One more door to do, the passenger rear door. So this is exactly the same as the driver's rear door. Again, 2 screws, 1 push pin, 1 trim panel, remove the window switch, and pop the door off. So let's just get right into it. Go ahead and start removing some of the covers. Grab the one out of the handle here. We'll go ahead and pop the trim. Again, those white clips are probably going to stay in the door. Yep, they surely did. So we'll grab those out. Let's get those put back in. And the third one. So now we can go ahead and pop the push clip. There we go, grab that out. So let's go ahead and remove the 2 screws. The one from the grab handle and the one from the door handle. So now we can gently pop the door panel off, just like on all the rest of them. So now we have our door panel loose. Go ahead and pop our window switch out. There we go. Get that unplugged. So now we can go ahead and just lift up on our door panel, take out our 2 cables, and then set our door panel aside. So now that our door panel's out of the way, go ahead and do just like we did on all the other doors. Remove our speaker, remove our plastic vapor barrier, remove our screw holder for the door. So let's start by removing the speaker, unplugging your factory or aftermarket speaker. And remove our speaker. Then we can go ahead and remove the 3 screws from this. So now we can actually remove our plastic vapor barrier. So let's go ahead and get rid of our block off plates. There's the first one. And remove this one push pin here. Let's remove that. So now let's go ahead and get all of our holders undone and our cabling unplugged. We'll grab our panel popper to remove this one. We'll actually leave this one in this time. It just makes it a little easier. Don't have to take it out, so let's not take it out. Well, you notice one of the door pops stayed in. Not a big deal. You can just grab that out with your panel popper. If you happen to break any of these little door clips, you can get them on Amazon, 10 or 20 at a time, but that's okay, no big deal. So we'll just make sure we put this back in our door panel before we reinstall it. So my piece, this is passenger rear door panel number 4. Let's just check it real quick. Looks like it's good. So we'll go ahead and pull down some, line it up. So now again, through the triangle, we're going to go ahead and get our door cables through. So let's go ahead and pull a little more of our protective layer. Again, if you don't feel comfortable pulling it all at one time, don't. Doesn't really matter. However you feel, you can do it the best. Make sure that everything's kind of lining up where it should be. And then taking a look here. So we're gonna make a little cut right above this Soundskins logo. So now we'll go ahead and bring all of our wires up through. So now we can close that hole back up and start running the cabling over. Make sure we plug everything back in. There we go. So now we still have our window switch. We still have our rear speaker. So now if you're happy, go ahead, get it all mounted down. Grab our roller. Get it all rolled out. Once you're happy with how that's all rolled out, you can then cut out your speaker. So let's just go ahead and cut it all the way out. So there we go. Go ahead and drop that behind there and make sure you stick it nice on the inside, depending on the trim of your truck. Some of these might not be used, but it's easier just to do them all than to have to pop them out afterwards. So now we're done with this. Let's go ahead and grab our speaker. Make sure we plug that speaker back in. We can reinstall this. So get it lined up. So now we have that installed. All of our plugs are in, our speakers in. Now I can go ahead and grab my rear passenger door panel, get that put back on, get our cables hooked up, and put it completely back together. So first thing I want to do before I put the door panel back on is replace any of the clips that may have either stayed in the door or broken. This is this one here, so just putting it back in, all done with that. So next we will go ahead and grab our cables, remembering white on top, get that one locked in, green on the bottom, get that one locked in, make sure we have our window wires out, go ahead and hang your door panel, make sure everything lines up before putting it in. So now our door panel's back on. Next we need to get our screws back in, both our grab handle as well as our door handle. Need to get our window switch back in, trim panel and pop clip back on. So let's go ahead and start with the screws. And then into the door handle and lock. Get the cover plate back on there. So that's on. Go ahead and drop the cover into this. There we go. Next we'll put on our pop clip. Push that in flush. Put on our trim panel. Make sure that's nice and tight. Then finally we can go ahead and put in our window switch and push it straight down. So you just, again, want to test just to make sure. Make sure you hear it doing something here at the latch, because again, you don't want to accidentally leave one of those cables off. Close your door, now you can't open it from the inside. It's a bad time. So now we are all done doing the Soundskins for the 16 to 23 Toyota Tacoma. So some of the things you should notice after the install: quieter ride, less road noise, better response from your factory or aftermarket speakers, and just an overall better experience for your truck. So if you have any questions or are looking to purchase this Soundskins kit, please visit us at trailgridpro.com. And as always, guys, have a blast out there.